The following telefilm is based on a true story, an actual case from the files of Unsolved Mysteries. In the interest of privacy, the names have been changed.
You think you know the shape of your world. I had a gentle husband who I loved, who loved me. We had a baby, our own home, dinner on Sunday nights with my mom and dad. And then one day, all of that was shattered. Suddenly, I had to question everything I believed.
Please.
Sergeant?
Please.
Sergeant, this man's bleeding.
Oh, God. What did you do? What did you do?
I think I killed someone.
Get some bandages. Get an ambulance. I think you killed someone.
I need some bandages and call out for an ambulance.
Well, who? Who did you kill?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Detective Boyko.
What do we got?
The husband, Roth Lane. He's in pretty bad shape. Multiple stab wounds. Looks like he was strangled, too.
The wife?
Ann Lane. She was dead when we got here.
Those the kids?
Yeah. Christopher and Tanya. They were asleep in the second floor bedrooms.
All right. See ya.
Bedroom's through here.
No rigor. Couldn't happen more than 3-4 hours ago.
Oh, yeah, the guy said he came to the station right from here.
Yeah, well, did he say why he did it?
What can I tell you? It's his mother-in-law.
He killed his wife's mother? Well, where's she?
I'm sorry, my hands have been full, you know?
Well, do we know where she lives?
I guess he gave us his address at the station.
Well, get a radio car over there right now. Hope to hell he didn't kill his own family, too.
Pressing your chin against your fist. Get that back and down. Police, anyone here? Back. This is great for toning up the front part of the neck. All the way back. Mrs. Shaw, are you awake? Out to the right. All the way back and down. What's happening? Left.
What are you doing here?
Are you Lauren Shaw?
Yes. Did my husband call you?
And now hold your hands behind you.
Where is he?
He's supposed to be here?
I don't know. I just woke up. Maybe he went to work early. How did you get in?
The door was open.
He left the door open?
Miss Shaw, we'd like you to get dressed and come with us, please.
What is going on?
I'm sorry, but your mother has been killed.
What?
And your father's been injured as well.
My mom and dad?
If you'll get dressed, we'll take you to the hospital.
Lauren, is everything all right? We have to go to the hospital. Can you watch Kimberly?
Yeah, sure. What's wrong?
My dad's hurt. And my mom's dead.
You know where the tire iron came from?
No. I'll check his car when I get back to the station.
Did the husband say anything?
He was unconscious when we got here.
So what do you think? Mother-in-law just let him in?
No, he had a house key. Gave it back to me at the station. And he's a very helpful guy, you know.
So he comes in and attacks them in their sleep. Just the kind of son-in-law you'd want. This drawer open like this when you got here?
Yeah.
Probably came in here to get the knife, so the murder weapon wouldn't be traced to him.
Then took the phone off the hook so no one could call for help.
You know where the knife is?
We found it in his car.
First he does something cagey, then he does something stupid. Can't wait to meet this guy.
Footprints lead off this way.
Where do they go?
Oh, over here. Neighbor's driveway. Looks like that's where he parked.
Anybody parked in the family driveway when you arrived?
No. So why'd he park at the neighbor's?
Have them get me these photos as soon as they're ready. What happened?
How did I cut my hands?
Ike?
Mark, this is my partner, Detective Boyko. Have you been to my wife's parents' house?
Yes. Yes, I just came from there.
Please, tell me they're okay.
I'm afraid your mother-in-law's dead.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Mr. Lane? Mr. Lane. I'm Detective Boyko. You feel well enough to tell us what happened?
Someone came in the bedroom in the dark, choked me, and I blacked out.
So you don't know who it was?
How's Dad?
You haven't told us anything.
Is that the wife?
Your homicide?
Yeah, Lloyd Boyko. This is Ike Nolan. She said anything?
Wondered where her husband was. Said she thought he might be at work.
You didn't tell her. Why does a guy attack his in-laws and then turn himself in?
He gets cut during the attack.
He's afraid he's gonna look bad, so instead of waiting to be accused, he comes right to us, claiming he can't remember.
Yeah. Temporary insanity.
So why does he go after both of them?
Insurance, inheritance.
Huh. See if you get the family lawyer on the phone.
When he gets in, can you have him call his wife? You know, no, wait. I'm not sure where I'll be. I'll call back. Thanks.
I'm Detective Boyko. Why don't we sit down?
We want to see our father.
They're stabilizing him. Let me ask you a few questions first, and then I'll see if I can get you in, okay? So, just tell me what happened.
we were sleeping. And, Tanya heard our mother screaming.
At first, I thought it was just somebody watching the television. You know, with the volume too loud. Mom? Mom, what's going on? Mom! What's happening?
So you never saw who it was?
Has our father said anything?
He blacked out almost immediately. Is there anyone your parents were having an argument with, disliked them? Anyone, even a friend, relative? You have no idea?
No.
You're sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Dad.
You're all okay.
Yeah.
We'll find her. Good. Your mom.
Dad, let's talk later, okay? The doctor said we could only see you for a minute.
Please. Tell me.
I'm sorry, Dad. Mom didn't make it. I'm sorry.
Talk to the lawyer. Nobody's getting rich off either death.
Well, why don't we go find out why the guy did it? Oh, listen, hey, you take this in, okay? Oh, hey, fellas, listen, why don't you take a break, all right? How you feeling, Mark? You got some pain?
It's okay. How's my wife and my baby?
Oh, they're fine. They're fine. I just spoke with your wife.
God, how am I gonna face her?
Well, I'm not gonna kid you, Mark. We got a bad situation here. The officers advise you of your rights.
Yeah. I don't want a lawyer.
That's good. It's better if we can work this out ourselves. So, why don't you just tell us what happened?
All I know is I was falling asleep on my couch at home, and the next thing I know, I was at my in-laws. I mean, I think I was. I know that I can see Anne's face, and I had this feeling that their kids were in danger, so I went running upstairs. That's it. I mean, the next thing I know, I was driving my car and I had this knife in my hand, so that's when I drove to the police station.
Mark, we're trying to help you here. And what are you doing? You're lying to us.
No, I'm not, I swear.
Mark, you drove what? 15, 20 miles to your in-law's house? Took a tire iron into the house and beat your mother-in-law to death.
Tire
and you
iron?
attacked your father-in-law with a knife. You expect us to believe that you don't remember?
I know it doesn't make any sense, but that is what happened.
All right, Mark, listen. Just stop lying to us. All right, stop. You think we're stupid? You think you can just go kill someone and then just say, I don't remember, and we'll go, oh, you don't remember. Oh, I see. Listen, that's fine. Go on home. Have a nice day. I mean, come on, Mark.
I loved Anne, all right? She was wonderful to me. I would never, ever hurt her. I swear to you.
Look, you went over there, you got into an argument, and things got out of hand. I can understand that. Mark, a jury can understand that.
I want to know what happened. I just can't remember. I should have gone down there. I should have tried to help Mom.
Christopher, don't.
We were scared, you know?
Yeah, well, you would have only got yourself hurt, too.
They've arrested someone. And he's right here.
What?
I heard some nurses talking.
Why didn't that detective tell us?
Why didn't you tell us?
Come on, let's go back.
What's my husband doing here? No.
Your husband's under arrest for the murder of your mother.
You've got to be out of your mind.
He's confessed.
What?
He's confessed.
What did the detective say?
Lauren, what did he say?
It was Mark. They've arrested Mark.
Mark.
The police think that Mark did it?
Why?
Wait a minute, why would they think that?
They said he's confessed.
He said that he did it?
Why would he hurt Mom? They got along great.
I don't know.
I'm sorry that I couldn't tell you before. We had some things that we had to check out.
Are you sure that Mark did it?
He was wounded in the attack. He had blood all over him. Do you have any idea why he attacked your parents? Had anything happened between them? Had they been arguing?
I don't think they ever had an argument about anything.
No, my mom and dad liked Mark.
What does he say?
He says he can't remember what happened. Nothing. So you had no suspicion that anything was wrong between him and your parents? When was the last time you saw him?
Last night when I went to bed,
Did you hear him get up?
he slept on the couch.
Why the couch?
He was having trouble sleeping, so he stayed up and watched TV.
He has a key to your parents' place?
I have a key to my parents' place on my key ring. These are his. He must have taken mine.
All right. Look, I'll need to get some formal statements from you all later on, but right now I need someone to identify your mother's body.
I'll do it.
No, I'll do it.
When the police called to tell me that my grandson had been charged with killing Lauren's mother, I told them right out there had to be some mistake. Not Mark. It wasn't possible. I raised that boy, and in many ways he was the most gentle person in the whole family.
I told the police everything I know, Graham. They don't believe me.
I'm going to get you a lawyer.
No, Graham. I don't want you spending your money on a lawyer.
Oh, nonsense. What else have I got to spend my money on? Bingo?
Graham. I keep thinking how this could have happened, and all I can think is that maybe somebody's trying to frame me.
I'm going to go now. May I hug him?
Where are his parents?
Oh, well, he never really knew his father. And his mother died 12 years ago. And that's when he came to live with me. And I can tell you this, that boy is no killer.
He says he doesn't remember anything?
Bits and pieces. He thinks maybe someone else did it and is trying to frame him.
Frame him? What makes him think that?
Well, we couldn't really talk. There was a police officer in the room.
You know private defense can be expensive.
I have some stocks I can sell. And I can take out a mortgage on my house if necessary.
All right. I'll talk with him tomorrow. I'll call you afterwards and tell you if I'll take the case.
Thank you.
You okay?
Hi. I better feed her.
I think she's all right. I gave her a bottle about an hour ago. I'll put her down.
I can't stay here. This is his house.
We can't leave her alone, Chris. Not tonight.
Hello? Hi, Eileen. It's Christopher, her brother. It's Mark's grandmother. She can't come to the phone right now. Can I have her call you back? Yeah, I will. Bye. Mark asked her to call, see if you were okay. Lauren, was Mark different with you at all? I mean, did he hit you or anything?
No. Did you guys have a fight last night?
No.
Something.
I don't know what happened. Don't you understand? I can't make any sense out of this either. If I never would have met him, this never would have happened. I would still be alive.
Lauren, don't. It's not your fault, okay? You are not the one who did this. It's not your fault.
Mark, I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. You think somebody drugged you and took you to your in-laws. Tell me how they would have done that.
Just trying to make some sense out of all of this. I don't know, maybe I was drinking pop that night. Maybe somebody got into my house and then they put some kind of drug into my drink.
What? They broke in?
I guess.
Was there any sign of a break-in?
No. Maybe we forgot to lock the door.
So somebody drugged you and what? Carried you to your car?
I guess they would have had to. Without Lauren waking up, without the neighbors seeing. Why would I hurt Ann and Rod? keep going over it and over it, over it in my head. It's all that I can think about. It's just so hard to accept.
You've already given your statement to the police, Mark. You don't have to say any more. From now on, as your lawyer, I'll do your talking for you.
I agree. There's no indication of deception. And I don't see any signs of delusional thinking or psychogenic repression.
Psychogenic repression. You mean subconsciously blocking out painful memories?
Right. In fact, he remembers some pretty disturbing images. His mother-in-law's pleading face, the daughter calling out an alarm, all of which pretty much rules out any psychological problems.
But there could be something physically wrong with him.
Well, that would be my guess. I can run some tests if you want.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. I'll start with a CAT scan. That'll turn up any tumors, clots, that kind of thing. If there's something wrong with his brain, I'll find it.
Maybe you can have a look at mine when you're done.
Hi.
Hey, how are you feeling?
Okay. You on your way to work?
Yeah.
Tanya watching Kimberly.
No, Bridget's babysitting. I dropped Tanya and Christopher at school. It wasn't doing them any good to just sit around. Dad.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mark.
What do you mean?
It was Mark who attacked you and Mom.
Mark? I don't believe it.
He's confessed.
My God. Lauren, why? What could your mother and I possibly have done to make him want to kill us?
He's telling the police he can't remember what happened.
Your mother treated him like he was her own son.
The night before, when Shaw told his wife he wasn't tired, he was going to watch TV for a while. That was so he could sneak back without her knowing, right? I mean, this was premeditated. I bet he was planning on coming back after the murders and just going to bed.
Pretend that he'd been home all night.
And earlier, when the wife came home from work. On the way to the morgue, she told me that he made a point of helping her by taking her keys when she came in the door.
The key ring that just happened to have the key to her parents' house on it.
Computer just coughed this up. Can I have your pickle?
No, you can't have my pickle. What are you, a seagull? Get out of here.
Shaw was arrested 3 months ago for fraud.
And the wife never mentioned it.
Listen, why don't you get on the phone to the prosecutor's office, see what you can find out. Mrs. Shaw, we have a warrant to search the premises.
What is it you're looking for?
It's just routine.
Please don't wake the baby.
Mark like to have home-baked things?
I guess.
About as much as you like playing the ponies? You failed to mention his little gambling problem.
Detective? My mother's dead and my husband's under arrest. I really didn't think it was that important.
Your husband siphons all the money out of your savings account by forging your name, then defrauds his employer of 30 grand and loses it all at the track, and you didn't think this was important.
I just meant...
Why did you cover up for him?
I didn't.
Your father told us you didn't tell him any of this until last week.
I didn't want him to worry.
Oh, so you were just going to pretend it never happened?
No. I yelled at him for days. I threatened to leave him.
But you didn't.
No, I didn't. I still loved him, even if he had been stupid. He promised to start going to Gamblers Anonymous and to tell my parents what he'd done.
And when was you going to do that? The day you killed your mother. Okay. Let me guess. He stays up after you've gone to bed, then decides to go on his own to tell them. Your mother gets angry, Mark gets angry. Next thing you know, she's dead.
I want to see him.
I don't know about that.
I can't go on like this. I have to know why he did it. If he's lying, I'll know it.
Mariella Matulis,
Lloyd Boyko?
you're going to prosecute my case.
Actually, I understood it was my case.
When did you graduate? You prosecute murder one before? You do know this is a capital case, right?
I graduated 4 years ago. I have prosecuted murder cases, and I've even won a couple, Lloyd.
Okay, Mariella. So listen, we have a situation with Shaw's wife. She wants to see him.
Some particular reason?
Yeah, she wants to know why he killed her mother. Now, I know legally we can keep her out, but I was just wondering.
If he's holding something back, maybe she's just the one to get it out of him.
Yeah. Good. Thanks.
This list of personal effects I got from the police report, they don't list underwear. Track pants, t-shirt, running shoes, but no underwear. Is that how you were dressed when they arrested you?
I guess.
Do you normally go out without underwear on?
No. I usually wear, briefs. My wife is here.
What are you doing?
I want to see her.
Mark, let me see what they want. They could be trying to pull something here.
I don't care. I want to see her.
Mark, listen to me.
I want to see her.
All right. Just give me a second. Detective, what's going on here?
Counselor, Mrs. Shaw is here to see her husband.
For what reason?
I'm his wife. Isn't that enough reason?
All right, but you can't go in there. And the guard stays out here.
Forget it.
Then she doesn't go in.
I don't want anyone else in the room.
Fine. Then we all stay out here.
If you want a divorce, I won't fight it.
Mark, don't. Stop crying.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Tell me what happened. After I went to bed.
All I remember is falling asleep. When I woke up, I saw your mom's face.
Mark. Come on, you must know how you got there.
I don't, honey. I swear
Did you get in a fight with my mom?
I don't know.
Why'd you choke my dad?
Lauren, I'm trying to
Why'd you take the tire iron into the house?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
I have Kimberly. Don't you want to see your daughter?
Can I? Sweetie, you got a cookie. How you doing? How you doing? I missed you so much.
How are your hands?
They hurt. Is your father better?
They're gonna discharge him. Mark, Whatever happened, you can tell me.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
That's the CAT scan. I was looking particularly for signs of epilepsy. People can be quite violent during seizures, but there's nothing here. The EEG turned up no signs of abnormal electrical activity. That's the blood work. No evidence of drug toxicity. No evidence of psychosis or antisocial behavior.
So what you're telling me is...
He's perfectly normal.
Which means we still don't know why he doesn't remember what happened that night. Great. Great.
There they are. Let's go. Mrs. Shaw, how do you feel about the prosecutor's decision to seek the death penalty against your husband?
We just buried our mother. Can't you have a little respect for our privacy?
Tell you what I think. If I had a gun and he was standing in front of me, I'd kill him myself.
One of the nurses at the hospital told me you embraced your husband when you went to visit him. How do you feel about him today?
Will you leave us alone?
I'm sorry. Can I at least call you later?
No.
No, please. Come on. Let's go.
You went to see Mark?
I had to. I had to find out if he really can't remember what happened. I didn't tell you because I knew it would upset you.
You hugged him?
Christopher, please, it's more complicated than you think.
No, there's nothing complicated about it. He killed our mother.
Is everything all right here?
Yeah, we're okay, Dad.
Time to move.
Where are we going?
County lockup.
We'll try to escape.
Stand procedure.
There's a rational explanation for his inability to remember. We're just not seeing it.
Lying is a rational explanation.
Jimmy, do you know of a single case where someone goes out to commit premeditated murder without bothering to put on his underwear?
Well, you got a point. You know, it is pretty remarkable, the consistency in all these reports about what he does remember. His mother-in-law's face, racing up the stairs, the bloody knife in the car. You know how people's stories usually change.
I woke up and saw my mother-in-law's face. I woke up in the car.
Yeah?
Woke up. He felt as if he'd been sleeping.
Sleeping. You think he was sleepwalking?
It makes as much sense as anything else. I guess it's too late to go see Mom.
Brooke, wait a minute. Are you serious about this?
You got a better idea, Jimmy?
No, but sleepwalking?
Who else would know if he sleepwalks? Mrs. Shaw, I'm Brooke McAdam. I'm representing your husband. There's something very important I'd like to discuss with you.
Look, I don't think I should be talking to you.
It'll only take a few minutes.
My family's already really upset with me. And to be honest, I don't know what to think about Mark.
Please.
Hold on. Hello?
Lauren, it's Mark.
What's the matter?
I'm sorry to call, but my hands, I got a lot of pain. The guards won't get the nurse from me, and I tried to call my lawyer.
Hold on. She's right here. It's Mark.
Hello?
Hi, it's Mark. I tried to reach you at your office. I'm having some trouble with my hands.
What is it? So you need some medication. Very well. Very well. I'll take care of it right away. I know the head of medical services. I'll use my car phone to call him. He'll see that Mark gets some medication. Good night.
Whatever it is you want. I'll tell you whatever I know, but only in front of Mark. I want him to know exactly what I've said.
Fine. I felt from the beginning that if we could determine why you don't remember anything, we'd find out what really happened that night. So last night, Jimmy and I were going over your various statements about what you do remember. Over and over again, Mark, you used the same words. I woke up. Do you think it's possible you were sleepwalking?
What do you mean? I drove to their house in my sleep?
I can't believe this. I came here because I want to know the truth about what happened. And now I find out you want me to help you cook up some dumb defense? I'm sorry, I won't be any part of this.
Years ago, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and smell bacon frying. And that's how I knew that Howard, my late husband, was in the kitchen again, in his underwear, making breakfast, sound asleep. Bacon, scrambled eggs, fried onions. He'd have all 4 burners going. The first time, I actually found it sort of funny, until I tried to wake him. He whirled right around and swung at me.
These people are asleep?
Sound asleep. When they wake up, they have absolutely no memory of what they've done.
Can sleepwalkers be violent, too?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. They seem to have some sort of preset program of behavior they're trying to carry out, and if you get in their way, if you try to stop them, they'll fight you.
So, do you think it's possible Mark Shaw was sleepwalking?
Well, it's possible. But I have to say, based on what you've told me, my guess is he's lying. You see, adults sleepwalk for only brief periods of time, maybe 10 to 40 minutes. That's not enough time to accomplish all the things you've told me this man did. And also, his actions sound so complex. It's not impossible for a sleepwalker, but it's unlikely.
Dr. Corrigan, would you at least examine Mark Shaw?
Miss McAdam, I'll be very honest with you. If I thought there was a reasonable chance that this man was sleepwalking, I'd be very interested in seeing him. But, as it is, I'm just swamped.
Doctor, it's true, isn't it, that sleepwalking can be genetic?
It does run in families, yes.
Mark's grandfather used to get up in the middle of the night and cook breakfast in his sleep.
Eggs and bacon?
Sometimes steak. And isn't it also true that going without sleep for long periods can trigger sleepwalking?
You've been doing your homework.
Mark told me that he had had almost no sleep during the 2 days before the crime. He was under a lot of stress related to gambling debts.
What time did the murder take place?
Between 3:30 and 4 in the morning. Is that important?
Yeah. You see, sleepwalking episodes always take place within the first 2 or 3 hours of sleep.
Mark told me he stayed up watching TV until after 1 o'clock that night. So doesn't that fit your time frame?
Maybe I could find some time next week.
Hi.
Thanks.
Oh, my dear, what you must be going through. I wanted so much to come to the funeral. I just wasn't sure it was appropriate.
I understand.
You know, she always told me you were her best friend in the world.
She was my best friend. I went to see Mark.
I know, he told me. That was very courageous of you.
I have this pain in my heart. And I feel like if I could understand why my mom had to die, it might go away just a little.
You know what his lawyer thinks, don't you?
Yes, and I think it's ridiculous.
Oh, now, dear, how can you be so certain?
Eileen, I know how much you care about Mark. How much you'd like to find some innocent explanation for what happened, and no one wants to know what really happened more than me. But come on, sleepwalking?
Lauren, it's not that far-fetched. Mark sleptwalked as a child. Did you know that? He did. I heard a noise in his bedroom one night, and when I went in to check on him, he was halfway out the window. He almost killed himself.
Oh, that's a very nice story, with a nice happy ending. Unfortunately, my mother's story didn't have such a happy ending because your innocent grandson killed her.
Who's the big girl today?
It's birthday time.
Kimberly, girl. You ready? Happy birthday, sweetheart.
You know, I would have baked this cake myself, but I'm afraid I'm just not the cook your mom was.
Oh, it's great, Dad.
She looks so cute. Is that new?
Yeah, my neighbors took up a collection. They've got her a lot of nice dresses.
She looks nicer than I do. His mom would get a laugh seeing me try to iron.
Well, it doesn't look that bad.
So have you been to see Mark?
Yes. His lawyer wanted to ask me some questions.
How can you have anything to do with him?
Because he's my husband, Christopher. And the father of my child. Because he worked 2 jobs so we could buy a home, and he used to make me tea when I came home from work. Don't you see, I can't just forget all that.
Is this the same Mark who sneaked around and gambled, stole from his employer and from you, then lied about it? And maybe that's the real Mark. Maybe that's the Mark who killed your mother.
Well, that's the question, isn't it, Dad? And we don't know, do we? None of us. Yet you're all ready to send him to the electric chair.
Yeah, you're ready to hug him and take him home.
I remember the night I saw Lauren at her lowest. She'd gone to the phone and started to dial her mother's number without even thinking. Suddenly realized what she was doing and just sat down and sobbed. Her mother was the one person she could always talk to about things. And then when she needed her mother most, she was gone.
Excuse me, can we take your order? Dear Lauren, I've had a lot of time to think about things. I still don't understand what happened. I feel such shame and guilt over your mom's death. I love you and Kimberly so very much, but I can't bear the thought of destroying your lives too. So I think the best thing is for you to go ahead and get a divorce. You're still young. You can find someone and can have a happy life. And Kimberly will need a father. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Mark.
Can we talk?
I only have a couple minutes left on my break.
I don't blame you for being skeptical about the sleepwalking idea. I'm not sure myself. I hired a sleep disorder expert, one of the best in the country. He's flying here next week to examine Mark. You're welcome to observe. No obligations.
Why would I want to do that?
Because I think you want to know the truth about what happened.
What does it matter to you what I think?
I won't try to fool you, Lauren. I want you on Mark's side. If possible, I'd like you to testify at his trial.
What could I possibly testify about?
Lauren, nobody knows Mark the way you do. What he's capable of, what he isn't capable of. I think any jury would put a great deal of weight on anything you had to say.
I just have too many questions.
What?
My keys. Detective Boyko thinks that Mark took my keys from me on purpose when I came home that night.
You mean the ring that had the key to your parents' house? Where would you have put them if Mark hadn't taken them?
On the table by the front door.
And where did he put them?
On the table by the front door.
So you see, he probably was just trying to be helpful.
But why'd he take my keys when he left that night?
Mark told me that you both kept your keys on that table by the door, and that neither of you paid much attention to which set you grabbed when you went out. Is that right? Listen, Lauren. You're right to raise questions about Mark's behavior. That's what I'm doing as well. And that's how we'll eventually find out the truth about what happened that night. But I simply can't find anything suspicious in his trying to help you when you came in.
Eileen also told me that her husband used to make grunting sounds while he cooked in his sleep. Of course, that's typical of sleepwalkers. They think they're verbalizing, but in fact, they're just making guttural sounds. And there was this great Aunt Lil. She used to shout out in her sleep. And her son Dennis walked barefoot through the snow to a neighbor's one time. And then there's Uncle Bert. He used to run around in the yard of their summer cottage while fast asleep. All in all, there's no question Mark is genetically prone.
So, you believe he was sleepwalking?
No, I'm not prepared to say that yet. But I am impressed.
What more do you need?
Well, if Mark is truly a sleepwalker, then his brainwave patterns while sleeping would be abnormal. It's sort of a fingerprint for sleepwalkers.
How would we find that out?
There's only one way. Every one of us goes through a regular cycle of sleep each night that involves 5 stages. Now, you see how his eyes are moving rapidly there? Right now, Mark is in the first level. It's a relatively light stage of sleep, characterized by these rapid eye movements, which is why we call it REM, REM sleep. It's actually in this stage, REM sleep, that we experience dreaming.
Here's your coffee.
Thank you. And you see, the rapid eye movements have diminished, and we're starting to get this slow rolling of the eyes. That's because he's moving out of REM sleep and into a deeper level of non-dreaming sleep. All right, he's well into level 3 now. And here we're seeing the beginning of some isolated slow waves. They're going to become more abundant as he progresses into even deeper levels of sleep. Mark is now in 4th level slow wave sleep. That's the deepest sleep of all. You see the amplitude of the brain waves? Sort of like large ocean waves. This is when people sleepwalk. Normally, adults spend about 10% of their time in deep sleep. Children much more, about 40%.
So that's why kids sleepwalk so much. They're in deep sleep more of the time.
That's right. Well, Mark spent about 30% of his time in deep sleep tonight.
3 times normal.
He has the abnormal sleep pattern, the personal history, the genetic history. In the days just before, he'd experienced sleeplessness and great stress, 2 known triggers. All the police descriptions fit. In my opinion, there isn't much doubt. He was sleepwalking on the night he went to your mother's.
I don't see what difference it makes. Whether I was sleepwalking or not, I killed Anne.
Mark, we know how badly you feel, but it isn't that simple. It isn't just a matter of whether or not your actions led to Anne's death. The real question is, were you to blame?
I did it.
Mark, someone's driving a car. He has a heart attack and blacks out. The car swerves onto the sidewalk and hits a pedestrian. Is the driver at fault?
No.
There's nothing you could have done, right?
Could you have done anything to prevent Anne from being hurt?
I don't know what.
You didn't make a conscious decision to hurt her, did you?
No, of course not.
You didn't know what you were doing. You were blacked out. You were asleep.
I guess you're right. I mean, nothing I could have done.
Now, I haven't put it to her directly yet, but I think there's a good chance that Lauren will testify for you.
No.
Why not?
No. I'm not going to put her in that position. Her family would never forgive her.
Mark, Lauren's testimony could be critical. If the jury has any lingering doubt, she could sway them.
No. Not after what I've already put her through, okay? No.
Well, I tell you, I thought I'd heard it all. You know, first it was the guy in San Francisco who goes and shoots the mayor and then blames it all on the Twinkies he'd eaten. Then there was some bozo in Florida who kills his ex-wife and says it because he had a hyperactive thyroid. But when I heard that Mark Shaw was going to plead that he'd been sleepwalking, I mean, that really took the cake. But to me, it was just another way to try to beat a rap. And to be honest, I had no doubt that our own experts would blow him right out of the water. And the bloody footprints come out of the house and then start around the house right here.
Headed for the Lane's driveway.
No, you see, that's not where he parked. He parked over here in the neighbor's driveway. So from the footprints, it looks like Shaw stood at the corner of the house, shuffling around like he was looking for his car, and then remembered that he parked at the neighbor's.
The point being?
The point being that if he was really sleepwalking, he would have parked where he always parked, in the Lane's driveway. You know, sleepwalkers are supposed to do familiar things.
Instead of parking where no one could see his car.
Exactly.
Sounds like fairly conscious behavior to me.
Damn right.
Miss Matulis.
Oh, Dr. O'Brien.
Yes, your office told me I could find you here.
You've been to see Shaw?
Yes, I just left. Is there someplace private we can talk?
Yeah, we can, just over here.
I thought I should let you know as soon as possible. I've gone over documentation.
And?
And they have been very thorough. To be blunt, I don't see any way of shaking their sleepwalking defense.
What?
Dr. O'Brien, you think that he drove over to his in-laws, killed someone, cut his hands to the bone in his sleep?
I know. It sounds incredible. And they may well have a difficult time convincing a jury, but I believe it's true.
Wait a minute. What's the difference? He was dreaming about killing his mother-in-law, and what do you know? He acted out his dream.
That's a common misunderstanding, Detective. Sleepwalkers are not dreaming. In fact, they're not thinking anything at all. Their brains are actually in a short-term coma. That's why they never remember anything. I'll get you my report first thing tomorrow.
Thanks, Doctor. What if he was sleepwalking?
He drove 14 miles. I deliberately took a tire iron into the house with him, got a knife from the kitchen, took the phone off the hook so no one would call for help, and then he viciously attacked 2 people. Now, he's a liar, and he's a cold-blooded killer.
You're right. He knew what he was doing. We'll start with the forensic experts and the doctors. And then after that, the investigating officers will...
Sorry I'm late.
It's okay. We're just getting started. Now, I should warn you that Mark's lawyers are going to argue that he was sleepwalking when he committed the crime.
Sleepwalking? Oh, come on. They must think we're pretty stupid. What, he ran around our house attacking our parents, asleep?
Did you know about this?
You believed it?
I don't know, but it seems possible.
Well, to be honest, Lauren, I don't think that it is possible. And I intend to argue that during the trial. Now, there is one fact that no one disputes, and that is that Mark planned to go to your parents and confess his gambling losses. And as you know, legally, you don't have to testify against your husband. But
We just want the jury to hear the whole story, that's all. So they can make a decision knowing all the facts.
I can't, Dad.
Lauren, what about Mom? Can't you do this one thing for Mom?
Lauren, your father told me how close you were to your mother. I know you must want to see justice done. All I'm asking you to do is tell the truth. Don't you think you owe that to your mother?
I owe my mother more than I can ever repay. But if I testify against Mark, the jury will think I believe he's guilty, and I don't know. I just don't know.
Mark Shaw had no motive for killing Anne Lane. In fact, as numerous witnesses will testify, Mark and his mother-in-law shared a warm, affectionate relationship. Mark Shaw had no history of violence. And, as many doctors will testify, he has no mental or physical illness. Why, then, did this tragedy occur? We will prove that there is only one possible explanation. On the night of May 23rd, Mark Shaw was sleepwalking.
I clocked the distance between the Shaw and Lane residences at 14.1 miles. Now, driving the route involved making 6 turns and observing 2 stop signs and 14 traffic lights.
Thank you, Detective. You can resume the witness stand. Can you tell us how Mark Shaw got into the Lane house?
He had a key.
And by using that key, it was possible for him to gain surreptitious entry,
That's correct.
which gave him the element of surprise in attacking Anne and Roth Lane.
Yes, I would say so.
Thank you.
The key to the Lane house. I presume you dusted it for fingerprints.
We tried, but it was quite smudged. A number of people had handled it.
So it's possible, then, that Mark Shaw actually rang the doorbell and that Anne Lane let him in.
It's possible.
You also testified that you believe that Mark purposely removed the kitchen phone from the hook to prevent anyone from calling 911. I presume you dusted the receiver for fingerprints?
No, I instructed the criminologist to do that, but it just fell through the cracks.
Oh.
Counselor, the fact is, we already had a confession and conclusive evidence identifying the defendant as the killer.
But it is possible that Anne tried to use the phone to call for help. But that the extension phone in the first-floor bedroom had already been knocked off the hook during Roth's struggle with Mark, and that she could not get a dial tone.
That's a lot of assumptions, Counselor.
Is it possible, Detective?
Yes, it's possible.
You said you were in your bedroom that night, and that you heard Mark pacing outside.
Yeah, I think he came there to kill Christopher and me.
Was the bedroom door locked?
No. There are no locks on our bedroom doors.
So there was nothing stopping him from coming in?
Well, no, but...
In fact, in the 5 years that you've known Mark Shaw, have you ever seen him act violently?
No. But he was making these scary noises.
Scary noises?
Yeah, kind of like grunting.
Grunting?
Yes, he was grunting like an animal. It was very frightening.
Eileen,
Hello, Lauren.
I said some awful things to you at the diner. I hope you can forgive me.
Well, this has been hard on all of us, but hardest of all on you, I'm sure.
I believe Mark. I believe he was sleepwalking. What Tanya said about the grunting noises he made, it was exactly like when your husband sleptwalked, wasn't it?
I had a dream about you too last night.
Come on, man, I gotta arrange bail.
Yeah, no, for real.
Listen, if I don't call in the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna be stuck in here the whole night.
Get out of my face now.
Please, shut up.
Let him use the damn phone.
Get him away.
Come on. Hey,
Mark, is it true that you stole money from your wife's savings account and from your employer, money which you subsequently lost at the racetrack?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
About a year ago, I went to the track with some buddies of mine, and I got lucky, and I picked the winner on my first bet. Only I didn't think that it was luck. I thought that I had some kind of special knack. But I didn't. So I just kept betting to try to win back the money that I had lost. But I never did.
Was your wife angry when she found out?
Yes, I thought she might leave me.
She yelled and screamed at you?
Yes.
So you had violent arguments?
Well, there wasn't really any arguing, really. It was just mostly Lauren yelling at me.
Did it make you mad?
No. I deserved it.
Well, you must have felt like fighting back a little. I know when someone yells and screams at me, I even get the urge once in a while to sock them.
I would never hit Lauren.
Never. You never raised your hand to your wife, not once in the 3 years that you were married.
No.
Okay. Your sister-in-law told the court that on the night that Anne died, you paced outside the upstairs bedrooms grunting. Do you recall that?
Just a little. And I had this feeling that the kids were in danger, so I went running up there. And, I mean, I thought that I was yelling or calling out to them. I thought I was saying, like, kids, kids.
Mark, did you care about your mother-in-law, Anne Lane?
Yes. Very much.
Would you have ever consciously harmed her?
Never.
You never hit your wife?
No.
You never hit your mother-in-law?
No.
So, your testimony before this court is that you're a nonviolent person.
I guess.
Do you know someone named Judd Brazil?
He's an inmate on my tier at the county jail.
2 nights ago, did you attack him?
This kid needed to use the...
Did you attack him, yes or no?
Yes, we got in a fight.
You threw him against a wall, opened a gash in his forehead that required 3 stitches.
Yes.
Going back to the night of May 23rd, you say that you don't remember trying to choke your father-in-law to death?
No.
Stabbing him 5 times?
No.
You don't remember stabbing your mother-in-law 5 times?
No.
Or breaking her skull with a tire iron?
No.
Mark, do you really think that anyone believes you?
Objection, Your Honor.
Do you really think that you deserve to go free after what you've done?
Your Honor, please.
I don't know. I don't know what is fair. I guess that's for others to decide. Hi. I've been hoping you'd come for so long. I didn't think you ever would.
I got your letter about getting a divorce. I'm sorry I didn't write back. I didn't know what to say. I don't know why, but on the way over here, I was thinking about the morning after Kimberly was born and how happy we were.
Did I ever tell you what your mother was doing when I called to tell her?
Hmm?
She was scrubbing the kitchen floor. 3 in the morning. She said, I was up, I'll do some work.
Mark, I just want you to know. I know you couldn't help what happened. I know you didn't mean to hurt my mom.
Thank you.
And I think the jury must see that too.
I don't know. Just keep wishing things could be the way they were.
Nothing's ever gonna be the way it was.
At least, if I do get out, could I come home?
Mark.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lauren. I shouldn't have asked.
It's just so hard. I mean, I know you didn't mean to hurt Mom, but...
But I did. Listen, if I get out, whatever you decide, I'll understand.
Dr. Corrigan, Does the person who's sleepwalking have any control over what he does?
No, none whatsoever. A person who is sleepwalking is very much like a car operating without a driver.
So, if a sleepwalker does not want to do something, attack someone, for instance, would he be able to stop himself?
No, he would not. He simply has no awareness of what he is doing. He's more or less blacked out.
Is such a person doomed to be a danger to society?
No, not at all. With the right medication and a prescribed sleep regimen, he could lead a completely normal life.
Doctor, how is it possible that Mark Shaw was able to drive his car 14 miles in his sleep?
Sleepwalkers tend to repeat familiar actions. Now, it's my understanding that Mark had driven the same route over 100 times.
But turns, stop signs, traffic lights.
It's like a person who commutes to work. Most days he can't even remember the trip. It just becomes automatic behavior.
Doctor, based on your examination of Mark Shaw, do you believe that he was sleepwalking on the night of May 23rd?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Have you ever personally witnessed a sleepwalker in an aggressive state?
Personally? No, but I have presided
A
over...
yes or no would be sufficient.
No, I haven't.
It's possible, is it not, for a sleepwalker to act on some unconscious desire?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Say Mark Shaw had a deep-seated desire to kill his mother-in-law. Is it possible he was acting on that desire while sleepwalking?
Well, here again, you have many instances...
Doctor, we don't need anything more than a yes or a no. Is it possible that Mark Shaw was acting on a deep-seated desire when he killed Anne Lane?
Yes, theoretically, I suppose it's possible.
On the other hand, sleepwalkers cannot do all the things that an awake, aware person can do. Isn't that true?
Yes, there are many higher-order activities that sleepwalkers would be incapable of.
Aiming a gun, for instance.
It's unlikely. They tend to show very poor coordination.
Chasing a moving object.
Probably not.
Like someone trying to escape from an attacker?
No, I didn't mean to suggest...
Please answer the question, yes or no, is it possible?
No.
No. No what? No. No, a sleepwalker cannot pursue a victim the way we know Mark Shaw pursued Anne Lane?
No. I mean, yes. I believe he was capable of pursuing her.
First it's no, then it's yes. Which is it, Doctor?
Your Honor.
Question withdrawn. You've testified that one of the reasons that you believe Mark Shaw was sleepwalking is that he has no memories of the events of May 23rd.
That's correct.
Are you saying, then, that there's no possibility that he recalls stabbing and bludgeoning his mother-in-law?
I have no evidence that he recalls
Just
anything.
answer the question, yes or no.
Yes, it's possible that he remembers.
So let me get this straight, Doctor. One of the reasons you believe that Mark Shaw was sleepwalking is that he says he has no memories of those events. And now you admit that it's possible that he does remember, and he's simply lying. Have I got that right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mark.
Hi.
Detective Boyko said you went to see Mark last night.
Yes, Christopher, I did.
Did you offer to testify for him?
The subject didn't come up.
Well, we just think you should know that if you do, you're not our sister anymore.
Yes.
Ms. McCadden, Lauren Shaw is here to see you.
Hi. Hi. Please, come in.
I've been walking around trying to think. Do you think the jury's going to convict Mark?
I think they might. Mark made me promise not to ask you to testify.
You don't have to. Good night.
Good night.
Go ahead. I'll be right there. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Getting through it.
Yeah.
You know, part of me has wanted so badly to blame Mark for Mom's death. To hate him for it because it hurt so much. But you and Mom always told me the only way to live in the world is to live in truth. And Dad, the truth is I can't blame him anymore. In my heart, I just can't. He needs me now. I know that if I testify for him, I may lose you. I may lose all the family, but if I don't, Mark may lose his life.
Your Honor, the defense calls its last witness, Lauren Shaw. Lauren, when Mark went out on the night of May 23rd, he left the front door of your house standing open. In the 3 years of your marriage, had he ever done that before?
Never.
When he arrived at your parents' house, he parked in a neighbor's driveway. Had the two of you ever done that before?
Yes, often. They're an elderly couple, and they don't have a car, so they told us to feel free to park there anytime there wasn't room at my parents'.
A tire iron from Mark's car was also used in the assault. Do you have any idea why he might have taken that into the house?
He used it a few months ago to fix a heat register at my mom and dad's place. The only thing I can think that is in his sleepwalking mind, he thought...
Objection, Your Honor. Mrs. Shaw can't possibly know what was in the defendant's mind.
Sustained. The jury will disregard the witness's speculation.
Lauren, can you think of any reason whatever Mark might have had to harm your mother?
I've gone over and over that in my mind. When I was in high school, I had a big fight with my mom and dad, and I moved out. It was Mark who made me see that they truly loved me and were just doing what they thought was best for me. My mom never forgot that. From that time on, she loved him like he was her own son. And I know he felt the same way and would never have hurt her if he could have helped it.
Thank you.
Mrs. Shaw, regarding the fraud connected to the defendant's gambling losses, this went on for some months without your knowledge, did it not?
Yes.
So your husband was able to hide serious criminal behavior from you?
I guess.
Did he lie to you during that period? About what he was doing evenings, about savings account withdrawals?
Yes.
And you believe those lies?
Yeah.
Just like you believe him now when he says he doesn't remember murdering your mother.
It's not the same.
Isn't it? He committed a crime, he lied to you, and you believed him. The only difference now is that it's not fraud, it's murder, isn't that right?
No.
Mrs. Shaw, the night of the murder, you asked your husband back to bed with you?
That's true.
But he refused?
He said...
He refused, didn't he? Which is strange, isn't it? Because you had been angry with him for days over the gambling losses. And he was sleeping on the living room sofa in part because you didn't want him in your bed, isn't that right?
Yes.
So you finally invite him back to bed, a wife's last act of forgiveness, and he refused? Is that so that he could sneak out later and murder your mother?
Your Honor!
No. I said you can come to bed if you want, and he said no. He said, not until I get back on the right track, not until you can trust me again. There was no secret plan. He was simply ashamed of himself, and he didn't think he deserved my forgiveness. That's why he didn't come to bed that night, because that's the kind of person he is. He has a conscience and he cares, and that's how I know deep down he would never, ever have hurt my mom on purpose. He knows how much I loved her, and he would have never taken her away from me if he could have helped it.
Is it not simply unbelievable that the accused could have done everything that he did the night in question in his sleep? Yes, people do sleepwalk, but when they do, they usually engage in familiar patterns of behavior. But what was familiar about trying to kill two people? Yes, sleepwalkers are known to react violently when someone tries to wake them. But Mark Shaw did not simply strike out at the first person who shook him. He pursued his victims in a sustained attack that probably lasted many minutes. But there's really only one thing you need to remember. And that is that Mark Shaw took this tire iron from his car into the house where he used it to viciously and with premeditation kill Ann Lane. That's how you know Mark Shaw knew exactly what he was doing.
Yes, it does seem unbelievable. In fact, every one of the doctors that examined Mark were initially skeptical. But afterward, every one of them came to the same conclusion, that Mark Shaw had indeed been sleepwalking. So why did a sleepwalking Mark Shaw go to his in-laws' house that night? Probably because as he fell asleep on the sofa, he was anxious about his meeting with Ann and Roth. Deep in sleep, an hour or two later, Mark subconsciously went through the motions that he knew he would go through later that day.
Mark, what are you doing here? Is something wrong?
But somehow, in his sleepwalking mind, he got confused. He thought he was on a mission to fix a heat register.
Mark?
When Ann Lane tried to stop him, he reacted violently. His anger aroused, he pursued her into the first-floor bedroom. There, Mark ended up attempting to strangle Roth Lane. We believe Ann rushed to the kitchen to phone the police, found the phone line dead, got a knife, and ran back into the bedroom to protect her husband.
Stop it!
Mark grabbed the knife from her by the blade, something no one in their right mind would ever do. In that strange fugue state we call sleepwalking, driven by unknown forces of fear, Mark Shaw took the life of his mother-in-law. As much as we pride ourselves on being a civilization of knowledge and reason, there remain many mysteries about life. One of them is sleepwalking, that strange primordial state which led in this instance to a senseless tragedy. Certainly for Ann Lane and for her family, but also for Mark Shaw, who must live for the rest of his life with the terrible burden of knowing he inadvertently took the life of someone he loved.
I'm gonna go get something to drink.
Hi. Well, I don't know what to believe. If he's convicted, I'm always going to think there's a possibility that he's really innocent. And if they find him innocent, I'm always going to think there's a possibility that he's guilty.
I know.
Well, I miss my granddaughter.
How about a picnic on the weekend?
Yeah.
The defendant will rise. In the case of Mark David Shaw, the verdict of the jury under instruction number 1, murder in the first degree. Not guilty. Let's have order, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you. I wish you well. You're dismissed. Mr. Shaw, you are free to go. This court is adjourned.
The biggest dinner.
comment. No comment.
Please relax. Just have one comment. How you feel about the verdict?
Detective, were you surprised by the verdict?
Well, my opinion, a killer has gone free today because a defense lawyer has found yet one more loophole for the guilty.
If you answer a few questions now, they might leave you alone.
Mark, how do you feel?
Relieved. Were you surprised by the verdict?
Yes. I can understand why people might have their doubts.
Are you worried it might happen again?
No, my doctors have me on medication.
Lauren, will you and Mark be staying together?
We're going home right now. I guess we'll take it one day at a time.
Mark, one more comment, please.
We have one more question. Please, one more.
Excuse me, sir.
No, I'm sorry.
Can you answer a question for us? How do you feel about the verdict, please?